Okay, there you go. Quickly just got a recording of the VOD going. So welcome to our upcoming best of 5. This time, it's going to be a PvP. JusticeSimon versus Quantel. Really, the rising stars here and now in the SEA scene. So we do have our best of 5 set and ready to go. Here we go, guys. Eternal Empire. Gonna be first map Simulacrum, next Ever Dream, Nightshade, and finally Purity and Industry. Bans obviously are Zen and Golden Wall down below. And really, people don't like Zen. Zen is something they'll really like to play, don't they? But it is what it is. And looking at the map pool right now, in a PvP, it doesn't really matter too much what the maps are, but more or less about what they can entail. So in PvP, it's a very cheesy matchup, honestly, with proxy being a staple standard. But from what we've seen from our two players, they have been very solid at playing into a more defensive stance. So this time it's gonna be a little different because usually they're defending and then they're attacking in most of their previous matches. Now in the PvP, someone's gonna need to attack first, and we'll see how they are gonna adjust in kind. But JusticeSimon able to play a really good death ball harass with the adepts earlier on, and in the meantime for Quantel's side, he's pretty solid at defending that one instead and making sure that he's like gonna be ready to go. He likes playing charge lot. He likes having people in the front, and maybe in a PvP not gonna be the best way to go about things. But for Eternal Empire, I'm gonna feel drops are gonna be a big deal onto those different flanks. Simulacrum, you can get a little bit of those proxy actions on the sides of the map, basically the four directions. Everything I feel gonna be a little more standard. If no one's gonna be cheeky, Nightshade. More about those brawls here and there. Impurity in Industry gonna be interesting enough. Potentially some air or some really funneled ground fights. I'd love to see some disruptors actually from our players. We haven't seen much of the Robo Bay. We saw a smidgen of the Star Gates, but nothing onto the Fleet Beacons level. But right here, right now, it's gonna be time to get into our best of 5 PvP coming our way very soon. And Eternal Empire will be game number 1. Honestly, the maps that are from the previous season are usually what people stay on. It takes a little longer to get comfortable with the newer maps, and at the same time, if you keep them banned forever, go ahead. I don't play that map. I don't play that map at all. I don't like that map. And you can say that many people say that about Zen, that's for sure. Golden Wall SL getting banned is very interesting. So the thing about it is, they both can go from Link Stalker. They can both really just lift people on to the other side, drop them down. So yeah, it doesn't really matter too much in that sense because it's a PvP in terms of those map picks, but it really will allow them to either be better with their usual strategies or a little worse if they are gonna get stuck in their ways and they don't really adapt well to the map. It really depends though on how this one is gonna go, ladies and gentlemen. And we are gonna be going into the Aodai Weekly yet again. The grand finals gonna be very soon. See how this is gonna pan out as we are winding on down, just making sure that everything is good to go. Players are wrong. Players are wrong. It's gonna be RGG versus JusticeSimon instead. That is kind of unfortunate. There you go. Simon Solo versus Caster. Yes, sir. Yes, exactly. That's what's gonna happen. So let's get into this one. It's finally time to get into the action. Eternal Empire. Race check. Race check. Race check. There you go. PvP. PvP, dude. Not random. Can we get random? Can we get random going? Just a random tournament only. But RNG isn't going to be a factor here. You already know what's going to come your way. PvP. Finally counting on down. Eternal Empire. Going to be our battleground. I can't wait to see what is going to be in store. People don't like PvP that much. Like, I've seen people say they don't like PvP, but it gets pretty fun. It gets pretty fun if you don't really know what to expect. It is a wild west sometimes, and for me, It really is the messiest mirror matchup. In TVT, it's pretty clean. There's a lot of micro going on for ZVZ. Small little battles make a big difference, but here for PvP, it's anything you can toss on the wall. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our grand finals here in the Outdie Weekly number 28. And here and now, on Eternal Empire, it seems like the Protoss race gonna be standing tall and proud. On the top right of Eternal Empire, it is gonna be the blue Protoss, that is JusticeSimon. And his opponents, on the bottom left, in the niche zone, red Protoss Quantel. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our PvP Grand Finals. It's going to be an interesting one into this one, as the pylons can be set them up into the foreground. So basically a small little cascade on in terms of positioning. By this point in time, we'll see how this is gonna pan out for our two players. For JusticeSimon, we've seen him really show on up in a number of ways. Again, he's been really improving in so many different districts and different facets of the game, to say the least. In the meantime, for Quantel, been on the uprise, looking good so far. Has been really working as well to up his game, up his standards, and get on through in these regional tournaments. Anyway, though, the action gonna be going, and JusticeSimon gonna be setting up a Cybercore gateway, now gonna be 2. And usually it is the standard opening for Protoss, 2 gateways into a Cybercore, 1 base. They don't go for these early expansions, because if they get caught out without money, especially in PvP where everything can get all anti-key, well, you are gonna get punished pretty heavily. So in a PvP, it is a little later than all the other matchups to begin with. Right here, right now, Cybercore gonna be setting things up for the Warp Gate. Stalkers, though, coming online versus Adepts. Interesting variance between our two players. For JusticeSimon, though, we'll see how this is gonna work out. Pylon gonna be set on up already by our blue Protoss close to the Assimilator. And I'm really just trying to figure out what is gonna be next on the list here. Another Pylon, though, gonna be set here by Quantel, and you see this in PvT pretty often also. This is a good way to bother your opponent, block off whatever's coming, and he's gonna take some time to break that in the first place, because that's how the buildings are supposed to be set on up. You're only gonna have one little blockade to try and make sure the march on in not gonna be as potent as can be. By this point in time, though, a robo facility into the cards here for Quantel. In the meantime, JusticeSimon fending these Adepts off. Getting the damage that needs to be done. One of them going to be quite low already, but the Shade's going to be able to get to the non-existent third, waiting on to the other side. Here on Eternal Empire, though, already safe to get some expansions. It's pretty easy to move on forward. It does take a little bit of distance, but in terms of positioning, you know your opponent is coming your way. It's really snaky. Like, if I remember correctly, Eternal Empire was modeled after an old map. Like, it was really inspired after an old map, as the Adepts right now trying to get the damage being done. Sentries, though, vaporizing, keeping the beam going. That is going to be basically it for that poor Adept. Not gonna get much done in this instance. The Stalkers backing enough of a punch. Shield Battery, though, from JusticeSimon, playing a little more on the defensive end, because he does go for that second base. And with the Shield Battery into play, these allow your units to stay alive a lot longer than usual. Basically, a medic here for our Protoss player. But on the opposite end, Quantel still lagging behind. Worker counts pretty even. But Quantel's gonna decide to play an Immortal into this one. Gonna be very difficult right now for JusticeSimon if he is only gonna be defending with what he has, because his Immortal is gonna be 2-3 shots at these Stalkers pretty quickly. Anyway, though, we have our facility set on up, but Quantel is on the march. It is going to be Hell's March here and now, and you can see the bright red looking to transition to the other side. In the meantime, though, JusticeSimon still waiting for this. Does he know that this is coming? Sees the Stalkers out in front, goes for the fight. Gets the block on over, but the Immortal packing a punch in behind. Warperson, though, in dire straits, taking a bunch of damage. Quantel cannot afford to lose this one, or his momentum, his tempo, gonna get shut on down. Observer, though, keeping an eye out in the sky. And here comes the Shade, something to come on through. Good micro though from JusticeSimon. Can put his building in the way. And this forces Quantel to go for a standard fight in front. The shield battery is keeping these stalkers alive for a little longer. The Immortal gonna get warped on in instead. Damage not being done. Force fields up, pushing the Immortal back. And JusticeSimon gonna lose things out. He is forced to go for the pull. Probes dying left, right, and center. The Adept holding ground. The Sentry is gonna be there as well. And finally, it's time to go for the damage onto the Immortal. But JusticeSimon gonna lose out in terms of that second base advantage, sacrificing workers for the greater good. And here comes another warp cycle on, and Quantel using everything he has to make sure he's gonna get reinforcements into this one. Damage not being done. Shield batteries though running out of batteries, running out of AA power. And then 9 volts gonna be so important into this one as GG is called. Quantel will take our first victory into this one. He hasn't left the game though. And yeah, disconnect. There you go. A little bit of a hiccup there, but I guess we are fine. There's the GG. Quantel with a 1 map advantage. That kind of weird. That was kind of weird that it hung like that. It probably was just one of the players disconnecting at a weird time. But it is what it is, and victory goes to Quantel. It takes Eternal Empire with a pretty strong push out of nowhere. But he was building on it, that's for sure. He was building into an aggressive composition. He got the Robo Facility a little earlier on. He got the Immortal, and from there on, he just moved on forward, decided to destroy his opponent as much as possible. I'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. Game number 2 gonna come our way. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are gonna get into game number 2 in just a bit. Our next map on the list will be Simulacrum. It's gonna be an interesting one to see how this is gonna go. So here for Simulacrum, big spaces to play on, but at the same time, we have seen a lot of cheese due to the fact the corners of Simulacrum aren't really as noticed as much compared to the other maps. And in terms of the scouting, there really are these nooks and crannies that you're unable to get initially of. So it really goes to show in Simulacrum you have to be a little more on alert where you move your probes, where you move your scouts, making sure that you have vision of all the parts that you feel like something is amiss. But anyway though, we're getting into our second game. We do have Quantel with a 1-0 lead here in the Outdie Weekly. And here, it's time to get back into the action, back into the game. Game number 2 out of 5 coming your way. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and Simulacrum gonna be the next battleground into this one. First, introducing, on the southeast corner of Simulacrum, it is the blue Protoss of JusticeSimon. And his opponent, the purple Regal Protoss, with a 1-0 lead. It's Quantel on the northwest side. So welcome back, guys, and it seems like we are gonna get our standard PvP coming our way yet again. Nothing cheeky so far. Pylon gateway set on up, and earlier on we saw the 2 gates, 1 core, 1 base expand. But after that, it turned into aggression instead from Quantel. Stayed on 1 base a little longer, able to really maximize on what he has. JusticeSimon having the right idea with the shield batteries, but the Immortal too late to the party, getting focus fired in a bad spot, force fielded, pushed into the loving arms of the army of Quantel, and that was the show. The shield battery not able to reach it in time. The Stalkers take too much energy due to the fact that the Immortal's really packing such a punch against those walkers. And in the end, it is Quantel with a 1-0 lead. So how will JusticeSimon respond? He should be wary right now of aggression like that. Kind of scary actually to deal with the action in a manner, especially with the mismatched types. But anyway, Cybercore will be into the cards here for Quantel. Right now, he's making sure that he will be able to get that warp gates at a proper time. In the meantime, also Pylon nearby, putting it beside the simulators, making sure that there's not going to be anything cheeky in corners like that. Total scouting though for both sides in terms of the edges of the map. They have seen their opponents build, and with the 2 gates in the front, that is enough for them to feel comfortable to play a macro-oriented game. Earlier on though, we saw JusticeSimon take that expansion, and he paid for it with his life. This time he is gonna look to do the same, sets up a pylon yet again just to make sure that he can go for reinforcements in that instance. Now the probe gonna get separated, and Quantel being pesky yet again. Double Stalker opening though for JusticeSimon, pretty much by the book from one of our players. And yeah, this is what happens to PvP. Sometimes it is a clown fiesta, sometimes it is a cheese-horrific escapade, but sometimes you actually get the standard PvP, and here you go. Now, the real question is, will we get some oracles here and now, or will we get more of the same, more of the immortals into the next coming wave? Second base though being built this time. Quantel gonna do it first, and JusticeSimon gonna be lagging behind onto that one. Doesn't have the mirrors. He's playing a little more onto the expansion side, looking to make sure that he's gonna get more stalkers queued on up in the first place. And it seems like it is gonna be a small little attack, courtesy of JusticeSimon. Hallucinated Phoenix though, getting the scout on, realizes his opponent is not building that nexus as of yet. It's a quick little flip of the script. The defense goes over to Quantel. He does have sentries though, he also has stalkers, he has a shield battery in place. All of them gonna be good parts, good components to try and get this defense up and running. JusticeSimon in the meantime, looking to come on over, already setting up a proxy pylon, not too close to the opponent's bait, but close enough to reinforce his lines at a good time. Quantel though looking around, trying to make sure that nothing is amiss. Trying to find out what direction his opponent is going to come from, but JusticeSimon is going to take the most direct one. Through the main ramp he goes. Quantel already on it, in position, and here comes the shots. Force fields will connect, high ground advantage, gets the first initial blow. But one stalker going to die for free. They tried to get on out, it's just not going to happen. JusticeSimon unable to get much done in the first wave. So right now this is looking good for Quantel. He's able to take the lead, having that nexus up and running. And by this point in time, it's JusticeSimon deciding to play the Blink Stalker instead. Old school cool, honestly a build that has never really come out of fashion. 2 bases, get Blink Stalker, and let your micro do the talking. Anyway though, on the opposite end, here comes the recall already. Trying to get everything back together. It's JusticeSimon. Beautiful infiltration with the Adepts. Gets on over to the main middle line. This one's not gonna give up. Oh, never mind. It just lets it happen. So tiding on the side already, Quantel not gonna bother giving it a chase. Never mind, the Immortal is also there to get the damage done. Overall though, Quantel unable to capitalize on his army force, will stay on behind. And in the meantime, it is JusticeSimon taking the lead in workers instead, as he is focused on getting more and more of these pros buffs instead. Anyway though, this is a really awkward spot for Quantel. He has basically tried to go for the harassment, but he's unable to do much with it because JusticeSimon is always on it. Good timings here from our blue Protoss, knowing exactly where to be on the map. But by this point in time, with Quantel at the center, shield batteries littering the natural, that might have been a reason why Quantel is just lagging behind in that worker count. Investing a little too much on the shield batteries, expecting a bigger attack that never really came to fruition. JusticeSimon with a bait and switch moves over to the macro-oriented style instead, looking to build a bigger army to pack a bigger punch against his opponent. And here comes the punch perhaps. The blink is online, exposing it already, but does save the bulk of those stalkers. Good timing there for JusticeSimon. It seems like he wanted to head on that, but an Immortal yet again here for Quantel. Gonna make a big difference. Damage not being done. Gonna be backing on that. Second Immortal shows up for our Indonesian player. And this Stalker is gonna run on away in fear, in dread. You can say that this is gonna be Godzilla rampaging on those poor citizens. Blink Stalker though trying to get a micro on Blink forward right now. Probes trying to get the tanking up as well. And here comes the surround. The Immortal though, taking front of the damage, will go down eventually. And Quantel gonna be unable to sustain his assault. But at the same time, doing enough economic damage, doing enough of distraction to go on over with the probe count yet again. It's another bait and switch, another flip of the script. And every single time one of these players goes for the attack, it seems like the macro is the most important part in behind. If you can't seal the deal, just build even more. Every tower needs to grow. And right here, right now, we are going to get the mass of gateways. When in doubt, build more gateways, get more production. And it's looking pretty overwhelming, honestly, from Quantel's side. The only issue right now for Quantel is he's spending these minerals on gateways. And JusticeSimon still has a force to bring on over, still has a force to try and pack the biggest punch of them all. Still though, JusticeSimon gonna be pushing on forward. Gonna be blinking on the way as soon as the Immortal is exposed. In the meantime though, really on Quantel's agenda is to get these Immortals, is to go for Charge Lot, as we said before. It's something he really likes to do. In the meantime, for JusticeSimon, he takes the different side, the opposite end of the coin. Blink Stalker, more of his style. Micro, gonna be pretty important into this one. But it seems like for JusticeSimon, since he likes the Blink Stalker, Quantel is able to easily answer with Immortals being built. Anyway though, here comes the push on forward. That's such a bad timing for JusticeSimon. He saw the Immortal already coming on through, and these guys gonna get cornered. Two of them going down, unfortunately. What should have been a surgical strike, gonna be a flop all throughout. And eventually, finally find time to get a third base going. It really goes to show the progress of these two players on the Protoss race. Really expanding, really making sure that so much of their tech tree is unlocked. Archon's gonna be next on the agenda here for JusticeSimon as he goes on forward yet again, takes care of the Artosis pylon in the forefront, preventing the Cybercore and the Warp Gates from getting any production on. But that is what Blink Stalker is all about, ladies and gentlemen, to be as pesky as possible. Teleportation has its uses, and blinking on down is a good way to escape here on Simulacrum. So the big caveat is, since it's a PvP, these ramps are exposed. When you're playing against Terran, you always want to block it, or you always want to have at least vision of it. But in an instance like this, a Blink Stalker can go pretty much anywhere he wants, and that is the perfect spot to go onto the eastern side of that main base. A lot of space to actually move around, to hide your units, to even put a building or two. Because look at the vision here for Quantel right now. He only sees up to here. Anything in the fog of war gonna be so scary if JusticeSimon is waiting with a huge horde in behind. Anyway though, interesting enough, JusticeSimon gonna run that in. And the Stalker just gonna die pretty handily. Archons on the cards here for Quantel as well. And we are turning into such a standard game. Both sides unwilling to really commit on the attack, unwilling to commit on a approach. And JusticeSimon is trying to be as surgical as possible. We said it before and we'll say it again. Our Stalkers are gonna be really soft against these Immortals. And right now, JusticeSimon is just trying to find value with the Blink Stalkers, trying to find value to find pickoffs in behind. After this map, guys, if Quantel takes it, that is going to be potentially match points. In the meantime, this is still a BO5, so potentially 4 more maps awaiting all our audience. But we are looking now for a big fight, and we are going to get the brawl. Guardian Shield set on up by JusticeSimon already. In the meantime, Quantel going to that high ground, looking for the cascade on over. Zealots cleaving each other. This is the strife of ire. It's going to be a Dune. Try to unite all the tribes. But the Aeon of Strife having a second coming here on Simulacrum. Down below yet again, both sides getting bigger and better armies. In the meantime, look at those upgrades. It really goes to show that it does have Quantel's name on it with the +2. Can JusticeSimon keep up though? He needs to have a bigger army if he really wants to have a chance at doing the damage that needs to be done. Because for Quantel, all he needs to do is make sure that his DPS is in position to get these takedowns. Now, interesting enough, Quantel is really zoned in to try and get that Warp Prism, ignoring the Zealots who are getting the damage done. Onto the corner they go already, and the Stalker's trying to go for a little bit of a last stand. A Zealot getting warped on in as well to fight their brethren, but in the meantime, on the south side of the maps of Quantel, it's JusticeSimon going for the attack. You can see though the evisceration, you can see though that JusticeSimon is losing out on that army, the +2 making such a huge difference. The Zealots, the DPS adding on up, and Quantel pushing JusticeSimon back. Opportunity here and now for our purple Protoss, and it seems like he's looking to seal the deal here. Takes care of the Archon in behind. The Immortal gonna be a huge pickup as well. Will it survive? Can it stay on? That's gonna be the real question. No! That's gonna be the takedown there, and Quantel is out for blood and can taste it on his lips. Looking really dire here for JusticeSimon. Where did it all go wrong? It really seems like that Forge making such a big difference. But right now, Quantel is in position to go for the attack yet again. Interesting enough, there is no Warp Prism in position as of yet. It is all the way in behind, but Quantel is still in a pretty good spot to reinforce. Damage not being done yet again. Probes dying left, right, and center on the opposite end. And in this instance, that's gonna be GG called. Quantel now with the 2-0 advantage. And this best of 5 gonna be looking to end at match points if Quantel takes it on the third map. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, that was game number 2 out of 5, and it has truly become the Quantel show in our tournament. Solid fight, solid find, and just using that Forge advantage to such a good degree. It really was also the unlucky side of JusticeSimon. Remember when the Stalkers actually came on up and tried to basically go for a pickoff or two? That was where it all went wrong, because the Immortal was already in position, 3 Stalkers getting taken down, and in the end, Quantel having the better composition, having better upgrades, +2 versus +0 really make a big difference. And he went for the swarm of Zealots. It was just basically a good way to add up on cheaper DPS in a sense like that. And by that point, Quantel able to mop the floor against JusticeSimon, take that victory there, and we will go into map number 3. That is going to be Everdream. And can JusticeSimon actually eke things out and turn things around? On Everdream, earlier on, we've seen Quantel able to wall on in and defend in such a good manner. Can JusticeSimon actually break that wall and break apart this whole 2-0 right now? He needs to get a reverse sweep by this point to take the victory in our I'll Die Weekly. And in terms of I'll Die, we're looking at the prize pool right now. It's $20 for the first placer with 60 OSC points, 10 for the second placer. Third place gets 5 with 15 OSC points, and basically OSC points increases your standings in the OSC ladder. We're just waiting on for JusticeSimon right now, who, interestingly enough, disconnects. But, as I said about the OSC ladder, if I remember correctly, they have this culminating tournament at the tail end of everything, and that is where you can really shine with that OSC Elite members as well. If you go for the subscription thing, that also helps you out in a setup like that. But I am just spitballing here. If you do want more information, check out the OSC Discord. You can find that in some of the tournament links. And if you also want to support the tournament, it's not too late. Use the Maturino down below. Use that command to actually give us $1 for free to add on to our prize pool. Anyway, though, this is still the I'll Die Weekly, and I'm your host, Daks. First time in an OSC tournament, and it has been a fun one to say the least. We'll see when I can do this again, or another StarCraft 2 tournament in the SEA region. For all you Overwatch fans, I'm gonna do Open Division Pacific again also tomorrow, so you can check that one out and watch that one happen. What time is that? Actually, same time as the start at 8 p.m. CST. Anyway, though, it hasn't been a good day for the Terran race. We only had 3 representatives, two representatives actually, of Terran, and both of them losing out on their first bouts. In the meantime, Protoss getting the love, getting that finals, PVZ, pretty much the matchup in all our quarterfinals except one, and the semifinals, just all of that. PVZ. The aliens having a brawl, and the Terrans taking a vacation, having some fun on a beach planet. Anyway, though, it seems like it is time to get ready for our potential match points. Can't be our last game if Quantel takes it. He's been touted to be the one who can win this whole thing out, and he has shown his progress, he has shown his might, and right now he is 1 map away from a victory. Everdream, will it really just be a dream here for Quantel, or will it become reality on a map like this? We'll be finding out really soon as Quantel is ready to go. Will we see cheese? That's gonna be the real question too. Here on Everdream, you can go for it. There are places you can actually hide it, but it's a lot easier to scout things out here on Everdream compared to something like Simulacrum, where it is a lot more open on the edges, wherein the vision of the units just don't spot things out. So we'll find out though. It's all about Quantel. It's all about him right now. probably is just taking some deep breaths, making sure he's not gonna choke, making sure that he's gonna be ready to take the crown and be the victor here in the Out Weekly. Quantel though, it's gonna be such a good time to get a championship like this. Hasn't really had too much international success, but a lot of participation does go a long way. And will he be rewarded? Will this be it? Finally time, Quantel back from his break, back from psyching himself out, and potentially back from having his meal or two. I'm gonna be really hungry after this one, but I am hungry from some StarCraft 2 action, and Everdream gonna be the place to feast on that. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? Are you ready for our upcoming Grand Finals? This is game number 3 of that match. Everdream will be showing us quite a show as soon as we get on in. You know, I've tried to end my speech a few times already, but the loading is the one that kind of breaks it. Finally though, let's get into this one. Enough about the drama, enough about the setup. Let's get into the Out Weekly. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are here. We are now in the Out Weekly. Introducing first, the man who needs a reverse sweep, the man who has touted to be the most improved player in the Vietnamese scene. He's shown his strength, he has shown his stuff throughout the tournament, but right now, it's like a flower that is wilting away in the face. It's the bottom left side of JusticeSimon. The Blue Protoss looking to try and get 3 maps in a row. Can he do it? That's gonna be the real question here. A lot of fate, a lot of thrust. JusticeSimon has been in worse situations, and he has been able to come out on top. We'll see if he can make it happen this time against his opponents. On the top right, the best the Indonesia has to offer has been on the uprise on the region, making sure that his name is gonna be heard, even though it's not his name in-game right now, thanks to how StarCraft 2 works. It's the top right purple Protoss of Quantel. Never really talk about his name, Gom Sujang. Is that a food? It's like a Korean food or something, right? I'm not too sure though. I'm not too sure. I'm a little ignorant about non-English things, basically. So in the Philippines, our primary languages are English and Filipino. So we know a lot of English. We have a lot of call centers for that region. Hello, welcome to tech support. May I take your order? I don't work with those guys. I don't pretty much do anything but talk on screen. Anyway though, let's talk about the game instead of my pretty sad life. Cybercore gonna be the next on the list. 2-1. It's just our standard build yet again. 1 base, 2 gateways, Cybercore to go for tech, get warp gates, be secure enough, get robo, and then move on to a second base. That's how PvP works, but it's finally time, ladies and gentlemen. So when you are on a BO5, and when you are 2 maps ahead, that is the perfect time to play something called the proxy in a PvP. Proxy Stargates gonna be the way to go. Now with a proxy Stargate, it isn't too oppressive, it isn't too anti-key, but it allows your aircraft to really get as close as possible to your opponent as quickly as can be. And right now with the Stargate, it's gonna be a very quick approach onto the base of Quantel. The Adept's taking a little long to actually run on through the diagonal. It's pretty fine though here on Everdream. It's not that big. It's pretty, it's like normal size, a little lower actually. And it's a straight line approach, but these funnels, these rocks, really making it difficult for big armies to move around. Adept still being micro, JusticeSimon trying to go for the brawl like this. Quantel in the meantime only needs to look to the southwest to try and make this Stargate work. I think I was pointing out to his own base earlier on, but now let's follow this Oracle. It's the one on a journey, it's the one on an adventure. And in the meantime, seems like the Adepts trying to get on out. Do they survive? Yes, they do. One of them really crippled by this point. But hey, healthcare on Ire ain't free. Anyway, the Oracle trying to get a little bit of energy, scouts things out, sees that there is no second base. But in the meantime, on to the main one we go. Warp can be done and dusted already, but JusticeSimon is already on it. Seems like he was expecting it to come. He went for his own Stargate at the same time. And in the meantime, Phoenix up in the air, looking to go for the chase down, looking to go for the takedown. Oracle gonna get recalled. Will it survive? No, it doesn't. It bursts into a cloud of green. And for Quantel, that cheese ain't gonna work anytime soon. JusticeSimon was prepared for it, expecting it to happen. And right now our purple Protoss actually gonna be behind at the very start. Very precarious situation here for Quantel. JusticeSimon making his own proxy gateway rather. I miss Terran seeing Terran, so I said that. The proxy gateway, proxy warp gate gonna enable these pylons to get the warp on in a lot quicker than usual. Second base does come online here for Quantel, but this is a proper time for JusticeSimon to go for the attack. Probes are pulled already. Phoenix gonna try to go for the hits. Good graviton beams, very difficult to actually deal with, and it's gonna be potentially Max Phoenix coming our way. 3 of them already online. Stalkers being built right here, right now by JusticeSimon, and he's feeling very confident to keep up with the onslaught. Graviton beam really lifting up those Stalkers. Quantel in the meantime desperate to try and hold, but it isn't gonna pan on that. The proxier gets proxied, the gateway allowing these Stalkers to come on forward, and JusticeSimon gets a map back. We are gonna have a match here, ladies and gentlemen. Well done by JusticeSimon, able to defend the right, and it seems like even though he wasn't able to see the Stargate, knowing that he was down 2-0, he was expecting something like that to happen. So just game sense right there, knowledge of how tournaments work, and experience for JusticeSimon, allowing him to go above and beyond. That was pretty solid there. What? 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 Okay. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm sorry about that, guys. So I honestly suddenly doubt myself. Like, was I watching the right game? JusticeSimon wins every dream. So we are into map number 4. Correct, admin? Admirino? Oh my god, yes. Okay, that was scary. I thought I just casted the wrong thing. I was just like, did JusticeSimon win? Are we going to map number 4? But yeah, shoutouts to our Mr. Admin here. He's been doing a bunch of jobs. Shoutouts to Ceres, who's been working as hard as he can to make this work. And Nightshade, yes, is going to be the next map. I got scared there. I got pretty scared there. I thought that's like, I'm not watching the right thing. Want to say the hype. Love your hype. Thanks, Chappy. Appreciate it. Appreciate being appreciated. I think I've casted one of your games before. If you check on the YouTube, it was a game because some of the guys like sending in games games in from the ladder, especially the Masters player. So I think it was either Chappy or Azure got featured before. So that was pretty cool. We also got to feature golden ones on the ladder, so that was cool too. So Kuro says in GPO we had a ZVZ, so I guess it's Day of Mirrors. I know, right? But the thing about it, the odds of having a mirror is pretty high due to the fact that... What am I trying to say? Due to the fact that if Terran isn't really getting too much love nowadays, even though mech is really strong, here the C scene, you know, it's either going to be PvP or ZVZ or PvZ. It's just one of the 3. But here you go, guys. Here is our map recount as we are going to get into map number 4, Nightshade. Going to be next on the list. It's gonna be a fun time in our Aldai. I'm really trying to figure out when I can probably do a tournament like this again. For StarCraft, I think my priority is the local scene. I love working with them, I love making friends with them, and it's a good way to bring everyone back. So potentially, I'm talking with a few sponsors right now, trying to see when we can do the second coming of the quarantine tournaments, as we are still quarantined. Probably next week or something like that. In the meantime, here for OSC, I think, you know, I'll figure it out. If anyone wants to invite me for casting, feel free to do so. You guys know where to find me, or refer me to one of the people that you know. But anyway, it's time to get into the action. BO5 coming our way yet again. We're gonna score right now 2-1 in favor of Quantel. But introducing first, here on the bottom right side of Nightshade LA, it's gonna be the blue Protoss who took a map back, JusticeSimon. 33% there already, JusticeSimon. Reverse sweep. You got the the first 2 syllables of the reverse sweep. But in the meantime, here for Quantel, still on match points. On the top left, gonna get introduced, as I said his name already. So the first thing to note, guys, in this PvP, is both players really respect each other, because neither side is doing anything immediately out of the ordinary. They start with the pylon, they start with the gateway, they get their gases on to make sure that they have enough stalkers, adepts, and sentries, and they decide to change things up from there. Normally in a PvP, well, this is no normal, like, fine. This is the normal, but this happens too, more often than not, on a PvP. They start immediately, proxy pylon, proxy gateway, proxy robo, proxy whatever, and just build a base there for some reason. But I think that's just on the lower leagues. Here on the, obviously, higher tiers of competition, you have to respect your opponent. You have to understand they have made it up the ladder just like you, and you can't take them lightly compared to the more casual nature of lower ranks. Anyway, though, there is nothing casual about StarCraft, guys. If Overwatch is a game where you it basically makes you hate people, StarCraft is a game that makes you hate yourself, because you have no one to blame but yourself. And if you are a salty boy whining about balance or a whisper, well, I got news for you, bud. Just get good. It is what it is, though. There are a few, of course, balance whines that make sense, and that is why balance gets changed from time to time. But if you're really the type of person in a 1v1 that decides to whisper someone afterwards just to spit out a lot of hate without it really being proper, well, come on, bro. Just get good. Just get good, or make sure you scout that cheese. It's just one of the two. When you get cheese, it's not you about getting good, it's just make sure you are aware of things. Anyway, enough about that. Enough about that preaching. StarCraft 2 is a game. StarCraft 2 is something we apparently all love in a way. And right here, right now, Adept's gonna be coming online. Stalkers there as well. Look at that unit job. Pretty much the same old thing for both sides. Adept and Stalkers. Now, you don't see Zealots in a matchup like this due to the fact if you play Zealots, they are just gonna get kited by any form of ranged units. It's pretty sad to see them Zealots just stand there or try to run at you without actually getting things done. I wish you could, like, throw the claw at someone and it will stab them in the throat. But that isn't gonna happen, and I was just preaching, but apparently JusticeSimon has heard me. Finally gonna go for the proxy gateway after his standard opening. Now this is a twofold thing, due to the fact that Quantel knows his opponent is playing standard, and he actually saw the pylon being warped on in, so he thinks that JusticeSimon is going for a second base that isn't there. In the meantime, here for JusticeSimon, gateway gonna be very, very close. This was how he won earlier on, because this proxy gateway is not about building more units, it's about having a pylon powered at its fullest to get the warp cycles as quick as can be. Interesting enough though, oh, the poor probe tried to get a scout, but it just dies in the field of battle. Interesting enough, for Quantel, he is gonna go for Blink Stalker first. Normally, we've seen him go for Charge Lot in his previous matches, but for Blink Stalker, going to be very, very good with the micro, very, very efficient against other ranged units, because the Charge Lots are just one big burst, and then the A move, the Stutter Step, can actually happen from the Protoss side. Anyway, though, here comes the brawl. Seems like Shade's gonna infiltrate. And Quantel, actually in a spot of trouble here, because that's gonna be the Shades into the middle line. This will allow JusticeSimon to take care of this second base pretty handily. The Adepts right now gonna be buying time. Stalker's still going for the shots. But in the meantime, JusticeSimon gonna be keeping up with his position, force field, to try and get the cut on. But the funnel here by the ramp really making Quantel's life such a burden to bear. And right here, right now, it's JusticeSimon walking on forward. He decides to go on to the main base. Probes are pulled already, but it's too little, too late. There's nothing in behind to get the damage done. And JusticeSimon, with a flip of the script, a snap of the fingers, taking down those gateways already. The pylon is gonna get shut down. GG is called, and JusticeSimon again with the same old recipe for success. We have it, ladies and gentlemen. We are gonna get our 2-2 score, and a BO5 really gonna go the long haul. Apparently, someone jumped the gun and called it there, but it isn't the case. JusticeSimon, with this aggression, pseudo antics, the trickery there, making such a big difference. And there you go, guys. Purity and Industry gonna be our last map of the night. But that was just so unfortunate for Quantel. He scouted out exactly a setup where it would look like JusticeSimon was actually gonna go for a second base. But then, lo and behold, no, I ain't gonna go for that second base. That pylon is there for trickery. You're bamboozled. You don't know that it's coming. And there you go. Proxy gateway. 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 Proxy enable the stalkers to come there. The adepts getting the infiltration on, absolutely huge. Because the stalkers went back to the high ground, made sure that everything was going to be fine and dandy. And on the ramp, it's just way too clustered. God, I wish I had, like... I do! Okay, I have an idea for our post-game later on. I think I haven't really done this too much in StarCraft, but hopefully it pans out well later if we have a moment like that. Anyway though, as I was saying, yeah, the ramp, it allows like 1-2 units to come at a time, and a single file, double file, that's not gonna work, especially with those buildings set up in that way. So JusticeSimon, taking advantage of the ground he has gained. Quantel was kind of forced out to basically try and defend that second base because he already invested for that Nexus point to begin with. In any case, we'll see how this is gonna go as Purity Industry. Gonna be our next map. Seems like JusticeSimon having a few issues actually hopping into the lobby, but it happens. He is now also one map away from victory, and just like that, a 2-0 becoming a 2-2 lead. Is this the NBA playoffs way back when the Warriors blew the 3-1 lead? Yeah, that's what that was. Will Quantel blow the 2-0 lead, or will he finally figure out what JusticeSimon is up to and figure the composition on the other side? Anyway though, it seems like it's gonna be time to get into the action. PvP gonna be our matchup yet again. Looking at the ranks, if I remember correctly, I actually haven't been able to talk about the ranks too much in our games, but I know JusticeSimon for a fact has reached Grandmaster a few times, and on Quantel's end, right now he's on Master with 5.1 MMR, so he's getting there, he's Master Tier 1, so this is pretty close. This is a pretty even matchup to say the least. Let's get into the action though, let's get into the game. It's finally time, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, even higher legacy proxy left and right. Okay, I see. That's cool. That's, I think on the ladder, that's really a thing. Thanks to Nux. Nux has been someone to listen to, guys. If you, especially on the PH end, if you need someone to scrim around with and the like, Nux is someone who's, especially right now, who's very active. So yeah, you should play with him from time to time. And I know Mr. Nux is very active also in the regional scene. What's going on in the chat, guys? Thanks. The compliments make me happy. I guess. Well, StarCraft 2, here we go! Map number 5. God, I need to do some stretching, because I've been sitting on this chair for the past 3.5 hours. A fun fact, honestly, about me. I was in a tournament for a card game, actually, before this, and I was just like, oh, I have to rush. Come on, we have to play right now. Quick play. Come on, bro. But, enough about me. Let's get into this one. Let's get into the game, into the score. It's a BO5 coming to a 5th map. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And here we go, the final shebang, or as I like to call it. What was the point of us doing the first 4 maps if this is the only map that's gonna matter? Introducing first, on the north side of Purity and Industry, on the cleaner end, Purity all abound, the blue Protoss of JusticeSimon. I think it really fits, honestly. JusticeSimon sounds like a very robot name. I am JusticeSimon Mark II, and he's on the Purity side. Really clean. It's like Judge Dredd or something like that. Terminator, when not everyone is dying. But hey, that is just a rise of the machines there, and our blue Protoss up on the rise. 2 maps in a row, really tying things up. Right here, right now, though, you can feel the pressure of industry, the pressure of working as hard as you can. And right now, our purple Protoss under a lot of pressure to deliver, but he has shown that he can make it happen. On the eastern side of Purity and Industry, on the industrial end, it's the purple Protoss of Quantel. So let's get into this one, guys. Pylons set on up as per standard. Cybercore gonna be there. And nothing cheeky, nothing out of the ordinary. Quantel might be kicking himself after trying to go for the proxy Stargates and then getting destroyed on map number 3 there. It really was just JusticeSimon having the right idea to go for those Phoenixes. And yeah, just the anti-air was enough Proxy Gateway, winning him out once and twice, actually. And now it's time to see what Purity and Industry is going to bring to the table. Now, they might be tempted to go for Stargate, as it is a very, very quick hop to get onto the other side. But in the meantime, Proxy Pylon already from JusticeSimon. Good thing though, Quantel spots it out already. He knows that it's coming. It knows that it has been his Achilles heel. It is literally the part that hasn't been zipped. And JusticeSimon in the meantime being cheeky even puts up the Pylon at this rate. Just getting a little bit of a pesky side on. Oh, Quantel, he's gonna do the same. And oh, it's a Proxy Twilight Council instead. Is this gonna be another bait and switch? Seems like Quantel gonna scout things out yet again, and I feel like JusticeSimon doesn't know that Quantel knows. Finally, though, he's gonna be aware, and his Twilight Council gonna be unfortunately cancelled. Seems like DT ain't gonna be in the cards whatsoever. Usually when you go for the Twilight Council like that, it's either a hidden upgrade or a Dark Shrine waiting to happen. In the meantime though, Proxy Gateway here from Quantel. And this is what PvP is really about, guys! We have finally found the purity of essence. Even though this is what the Protons we're talking about, this is the purity of form, this is the purity of essence! Right here, the essence of PvP! It's cheese coming our way! Proxy is the name of the game, but at the same time, it's an adept in the middle. Bro. I had to stop because the probes literally ignored the adept at the last moment, and it was like, awkward. Okay. That happened. That is a huge hit, actually. Courtesy of JusticeSimon. 6 workers at a point in time like this. When Quantel wants to go for the aggression, that will slow things down just a little bit. And that was just 2 adepts. Pretty worthwhile trade, courtesy of JusticeSimon. But in the meantime, he's gonna need a little more in the front. Now, for JusticeSimon, he feels he needs to be on the defensive end due to the fact that his proxy has been exposed. And it would be highly unlikely if Quantel did not go for the punish. Here they go though onto the high ground, and the Stalker yet again taking the brunt of the damage. There we go though with the shots. One of the Stalkers gonna go down. And the shield battery, the first target, a flimsy structure to go down. The second base not gonna be built anytime soon here for JusticeSimon, because these Stalkers are already in position. Potential defense, Adepts gonna be going on over to that middle line yet again. So it's very, very different right now compared to Nightshade. JusticeSimon super willing to give up that second base compared to Quantel, who suffered greatly trying to defend it desperately. Anyway though, it's all about the shots. Seems like the Shades giving a little bit of that vision. The Adepts though don't get the cancel, and they are on the wrong side of the bed. Shots now keeping on coming on the Warp Gate, 17 HP. Will he sacrifice his Stalker to actually get the takedown there? Seems like it's not going to be the case. Observer on spotting Zuti sees exactly what's going on. Look at that quick little reaction, and this might be an opportunity here for JusticeSimon to get the punish, but the Warp Prism will get Micro into its oblivion. And Quantel now going for a tug of war. It's a little bit of rope. It's a noose though, trying to get the hang on. In the meantime, the force field is there, gets the separation. Unfortunately, the shields are already online and the Warp Gate's still alive. Free hit from above. We can see the desperation on both ends. But in behind, seems like Quantel will be playing that macro game. I like how Quantel is actually gonna try to keep things up. Oh, the Warp Gate finally died. But the Immortal now is into the field, and this should finally allow JusticeSimon to move on out. Immortal even taking point, showing its burliness, showing how strong it can be. Shade in the meantime gonna get the scout on, spots out the upcoming walker, and decides it's finally time to get on out. Very, very different approaches here for both sides. It really feels like JusticeSimon is Quantel right now, who goes for the Immortal on the defense. And it feels like Quantel is JusticeSimon because he's the one who went for the Proxy Barracks. I keep saying Proxy Barracks! The Proxy Warp Gate with the Stalker composition. Finally. Oh my god. I have been waiting for this. So we have gotten a Robo Bay. Does Quantel know it's coming? He's somewhat close! He sees it. He sees it's there. And here on the Robo Facility, Disruptor gonna be coming the way of JusticeSimon. So Quantel has to be very, very worried right now of what's to come. He goes for Stargate to try and find a pick-off on a potential Warp Prism. But if this Disruptor gets a huge hit, that is gonna be shivers and shakes coming into this cast, coming into this match. Stars are already in position. It's one direction to actually try and defend. There's no way JusticeSimon isn't gonna take the path of least distance. Now, right now, these Stalkers trying to be the lookouts, but it's JusticeSimon staying on the western side. The Disruptor Not gonna get dropped as of yet. Adepts looking to go for the punish, looking to get some scanning information. And JusticeSimon knows it's time to get the drop on. Here comes the Nova, and a kill on the 6. The Disruptor able to survive even, and potentially the Natural now gonna be under the rest. 9 probes do go down. Surgical strike here from JusticeSimon, working out in such a good way. And in the meantime, I like these Adept picks from JusticeSimon. Since it's a Stalker Immortal composition, these guys aren't gonna take any bonus damage. Gravitic Drive even gonna be into the cards. And here comes the recall, because he saw the Phoenix coming. So long cooldown on that recall. Right here, right now. Oh, JusticeSimon, he's unrelenting. He's gonna go again and do so one more time. But with the Phoenix, of course, looking around, trying to see what's going on in the map. Could be a little dangerous if he does the same thing one more time. Anyway though, we'll see how this is gonna pan out for our 2 players as Shield Battery is now set on up yet again. Finally, we have 2 stable bases for our 2 players. It seems like it hasn't been the case for the past 2 games, but you know, I'm feeling pretty too onto this one. I don't know, I'm just trying to kind of force that last one out. But naturally though, here comes the push on in from Gumps Jam from Mr. Quantel. He does have a drop on over, puts in a dip on the high ground, but it will be met by the Giraffe itself. It's the Colossus imposing its will, and we are gonna be on Mars at the end. It is gonna be the attack of these walkers. Actually, this is a walker. Like, what is the difference between a walker and a strider? I think this is a strider, right? And this is a walker. His legs are really flimsy. But I digress. Looking at the unit tab right now, it seems like both sides having similar compositions, but the very difference is that Stargate here for Quantel versus the RoboVay with that Robo Facility on the side of JusticeSimon. He's enabled to actually go for Colossus, he's enabled to get the Disruptors on, and we'll see if JusticeSimon can really micro these Disruptors as well as can be. Now, from what I've seen from Disruptors on more standard play, not at the highest high, we're not gonna talk about the Korean scene and all, like, from more standard play, Disruptors are a bailout unit, as here comes the drop onto the main base with 2 Immortals getting damage done, and a cycle of Zealots as well. Good load on in though from the Warp Prism, trying to get on out, but here Impurity Industry staying a little too long, can get punished, and JusticeSimon giving chase. Look at that speed though, on that Warp Prism, and still, Quantel unrelenting, will keep things up. Here we go with a Warp Prism, micro on with a cycle yet again. So the Warp forward. Doesn't even need that charge lot as for the fact, because this is such a very close gap to distance on over, to just run on over. On the other side, here comes the attack. Quantel doing it on both sides. This is looking pretty potent. Disruptor's gonna get lifted, but in the meantime, the Colossus trying to get as much damage as possible. Quantel though, falling on over. Protoss probes are pulled on over as well, and still the gravitic beams now trying to get the lift onto those Disruptors, trying to make sure the Novas aren't gonna happen. But Quantel unable to mop the floor against his opponents, and JusticeSimon sure a little behind that on worker count, but overall this is looking pretty bad here for Quantel. He doesn't have much in behind of this. He's gonna keep up with the pressure though with that Immortal. The Colossus is gonna go down, but still Quantel doesn't have anything left at home, and this might be JusticeSimon's time to strike. I was trying to tell a story about Disruptors, but apparently my story time disrupted by a huge concave of action, courtesy of Quantel. Went from drop plays onto the main, went for the push onto that second, but in the end, it really goes to show that JusticeSimon having the proper composition to deal with the dead ball. And this Disruptor getting a number of kills, a number of damage overall. He has to be careful though, of course, of his own units. And I was trying to say, usually Disruptor is a bailout play, it's faster to get than the Colossus, so you get a Nova on, you get a big hit, and if your micro isn't on point, you just decide to scooch on over with the glowing ball in the front lines and easily die. By this point in time, it's gonna be desperation mode for Quantel. JusticeSimon knows that this is his time. He has been able to get the past 2 maps, and he's looking to get this 5th. Concentration fire though onto the Phoenix, and Quantel is feeling the news that he tried to hang on JusticeSimon, actually going on his side instead. Shots now keeping on coming. The Nova into the middle, and that's a huge explosion! The Stalkers and Immortals taking front of the damage there. Shield batteries right now trying to keep things up. But by this point in time, good lift on over to one of the Disruptors, canceling that Nova from coming on back, but it's too little too late, because this is gonna be JusticeSimon walking forward, pushing with the might of the Golden Fleet down below, and the ground forces right here, right now, will allow JusticeSimon to get the reverse sweep. GG is called, and our champion for tonight is JusticeSimon. And that is that, ladies and gentlemen. That is the Aodai Weekly. Oh crap, I forgot again. But it is what it is. That was a huge fight there from our players, and that was so solid from JusticeSimon at the tail end. That defense making such a huge difference, honestly. It was so well executed. Having a greater ground force, having so much strength down below, allowing JusticeSimon to pick up that victory. The disruptor hit also making such a key difference, because if Quantel didn't really lose out on those probes, he could have expanded, or he could have gone into higher tiers of tech in terms of like the Stargate. He can go for Fleet Beacon. Tempest could have been a big help against the Colossi, as well as maybe some Void Rays that he could build in the first place, but get some upgrades going underway. But it seems like the Robo Bay a superior choice in a matchup like that if the harassment isn't just gonna work out. And in the end, JusticeSimon actually doing it, guys. He was able to make it happen. Very well played there to both our players. But there can only be one champion, and JusticeSimon is it. Map results are as follows. First two, taken by Quantel. But last three, one out by JusticeSimon. And that is all she's wrote here in the Aodai Weekly. It has been a pleasure to bring you guys the SEA tournament that happens every week. So if you guys are interested to join, wait on for an announcement in the OSC Discord or somewhere in the numerous Facebook groups in SEA. The Aodai Weekly should come on back next week for its 29th iteration, and hopefully we can keep things up and keep on going with our tournament setup. It has been a pleasure to be your caster here and now in the Aodai Weekly, and it has been such a fun night to check things out in the SEA region. Big shoutouts as well to our AU participants, to the LS Missile for the overlays and the like, and to OSC for the tournament and its basically organization and sponsorship. If you guys do want to help out OSC, you can join the Elites program. You can also help out the tournaments themselves through Maturino. That is useful in the command. I think since the tournament's done, you can't do that anymore, but you can do that into future tournaments. It's free to do, if I remember correctly. All you gotta do is pop in the coupon code, and there you go. A little bit more extra money for our players participating in the tournaments. Anyway, though, this has been the Aodai Weekly, and in the end, Protoss reigned supreme. But as soon as we got that PvP, it was pretty obvious which race was gonna win the war. Still, though, JusticeSimon bringing it home for the Aodai, staying home with a Vietnamese championship. Very good run to Quantel. Big shoutouts to him. Making it all the way till the end. Just a little more for Quantel should be able to take an actual championship and the like. But anyway, it is time for us to bid adieu and call it a night. Here in the SEA region, it is very late, no matter where you are in our different time zones. And this has been the Aodai Weekly. StarCraft 2 action for the past 3 days have been very taxing, but it is such a good change of pace, and I hope to be able to do a few more of these into the future. Anyway, though, guys, if you want to check out my socials, it's down below. Facebook here, Twitter here, and obviously you're on the stream right now, that is here. I mostly do Overwatch content and StarCraft 2nd, and then Pokemon 3rd. So yeah, if you like those kinds of things, you can check things out like that. Tomorrow, again, we will have our standard Open Division progress in Overwatch, and probably next weekend, I'm going to be too busy to do StarCraft. Instead, we are going to have the playoffs of Open Division Pacific. So that's going to be a good one if you're interested in that game. Hopefully also next week, I'm going to be able to host a SCPH replay casting session. So if you're from the community, or you know someone in the community, or you've heard about this, you can send in a replay to cast, and I'll see what I can do, because I have a pretty big backlog due to these tournaments. Enough about me, though. Thank you guys for tuning on in. Have a good night. Have a good rest. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace and love. Take care.